couple of weeks ago, Tennessee hosted Georgia, played pretty well, but lost. And I came in and I said, do we feel better or worse about this team? And most of us, except for Chuck, maybe Chuck was prescient in this, but most of us said, I feel better. All right, fast forward to yesterday. Tennessee goes on the road. Not easy to do in this SEC, in the SEC. You get the win, but there are issues. You have to fight from behind. You scored 2 offensive touchdowns in regulation. It was a struggle. So I'm going to ask the same question we did about Georgia. You feel better or worse after that game, Mike Stoll?
I don't. And when you talk
about... You don't feel at all?
I
know that.
I don't feel better.
Everyone who knows you knows that, Mike.
I don't feel better.
Cold.
Yeah. No, I think at the end of the day, you're right. I felt okay about Georgia. I felt, okay, we competed. Yeah. We missed a field goal, but we were right there. You look at Mississippi State, and we squandered a lot of opportunities. We let that team stay in the game with a muff punt. We weren't clicking offensively. Defensively, all of a sudden, we couldn't make a tackle. And so for me, I'm more concerned, and I feel less positive than I did after a loss, which is not a good thing.
Yeah, it's a crazy feel, but that's the same way I came out of it.
Yeah.
Jimmy, what did you think?
Tennessee shot itself in the foot so often they didn't have any toes left. That was just amazing. But my viewpoint is you did not play your best. You weren't even close. You had to rely on a couple of defensive touchdowns to get you there. And you went on the road against a pretty good team. So I'm looking at it, I almost feel a little bit better. This is a game they lose a year ago. This is a game they probably lost 2 years ago if they had played like that. So I'm kind of feeling better that they figured out a way to win a game. You had a 75-yard drive at the end of it. In 13 plays, you converted a 4th down. And yes, there are a lot of concerns, no doubt about it. But the fact that you didn't play very well and you still won, I'm going to say I feel a little bit better about this team.
Very good. Marlon.
I'm on the same par with Jimmy. Yes, I did not like the clock management. There was a lot of things defensively I did not like. We're still soft on the edges as far as setting the edge, making the ball go sideways and opposed to vertical. But I also knew that this is going to be a trap game for Tennessee. You're running against an offense that kind of run the same system you run. As a defensive guy, the up-tempo is going to bother you. And so I think a lot of that missed tackles was attributed to guys were just tired. And then we lacked depth on the defensive line. We got a guy back, but you barely saw him as much yesterday. It's hard to win on the road. And again, this is Mississippi State's best start in a very long time, so I knew that crowd was going to be energized. And then again, you're facing a guy that kind of runs the same system. So to get out of there with a win, and defensively, I saw some things from my pass rush. Up front, we look better.
You find defensive line finally pressing the pocket, yeah.
I'm hoping that's something to come, and so that's something I'm going to hang my hat on and say, you know what, man, you got to win on the road. We'll take that win. Let's go get better in the off week.
And we will have segments on the clock management and on the defense coming up. Josh Ward, your thoughts. How did you walk away from that game?
Yeah, so if you said, hey, Josh, how do you feel about clock management? My answer is not better. If you said run defense, it's not better. But zoom out, because what Jimmy mentioned, last year at Arkansas, Tennessee found a way to lose that game. And a lot of times in college football, good teams find ways to lose on the road against teams that are not as good. Florida State on Friday night lost to Virginia. I think Florida State's the better team. Virginia won the game that night. Tennessee found a way, despite muffing the punt to begin the game, dropped passes, mistakes on defense, allowing Mississippi State to run, take out sack yardage for 230 yards away from home, and you still figure out a way in the fourth quarter and then overtime to get a win. So Tennessee showed it can figure that out. It still has things to work on, but I feel better because Tennessee was able to win a game than in past years I would have expected them to lose.
Yeah, I think, look, the people who care about style points are outside the locker room. Media and fans care about style points.
And bettors.
And gamblers. But the folks inside that locker room, as you two know, did you ever win a game on the road in the SEC and not celebrate it? No, you celebrate it. You're happy in the locker room and you take it, and that's a good win. That's his 9th SEC road win since he's been here. That is more than everyone but Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss. So, look, that's a positive. I just walked away. I've got more questions now than I did when I went into it, personally. Doesn't mean they're going to go 5-0. Doesn't mean they're going to go 0-5 in the next 5. I just have a few more questions than I had going into it. Biggest takeaways, other than what we've talked about so far, biggest takeaways from yesterday's game?
I just think you're right that you found a way to win, and that's a great point. But I think Georgia kind of gave you a template for how you can beat Tennessee, and that's run the ball. And they started running the ball, started hurting Tennessee. I think you're going to see a lot more of that, so they're going to have to work on that in the off date and get better at it. I do think Joey Aguilar, as great as he has played, I think he's still got some things that he's got to tweak, right? You saw early in the season he was sailing the ball a little bit. Georgia, he was money. Now all of a sudden it's starting to go there again. So again, it's okay, collect yourself, think about it. So overall, the good thing is you got an open week to correct a lot of stuff. You've seen some players, you've seen some guys, you got the reps. Now the concern is, okay, can we make those adjustments, and can these kids respond to what's being coached to them?
Other big takeaways. Everybody's biggest takeaway. Jump
Well,
in.
I was really concerned about the run defense in this thing. Tennessee went into the game giving up 93 yards rushing per game. Okay, that's skewed by a couple of weak opponents. I get that. Georgia ran for, was it over 200 yards,
Yeah.
wasn't it? And now you've given up, as Josh pointed out, well over 200 yards if you take out the sacks against Mississippi State. I was really surprised at State's ability to run. Now, they ran 86 plays, so I could see where your defense tires a little bit. The secondary still, to me, is a little bit of a concern, too. So, yeah, I come away with a lot of questions as well. I guess just answering the bell when you had to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Was
Well, I mean, I don't think there's a right answer on this. So I'm not. Yeah. To me, one of the things I took away was this was a classic example of you let a team hang around. I thought 10 minutes in, I'm like, okay, you're moving the ball at will. They can't gain a yard, but you muff a punt. You have Josh Josephs with a stupid takedown 15-yard penalty. You put 7 points on the board for them, basically. And then you have to come down and kick a field goal. And then all of a sudden, that third drive from Mississippi State, they're running all over you. It's like if you had not muffed the punt, if you had just jumped on them and made that thing 14-0 like it could have been, it's over. Lights
Tennessee
out.
could have won the game by multiple scores.
I think so. Yeah, but they kept them in it. Big takeaway.
My biggest takeaway is I think this Mississippi State team is better than we expected, and I think by the end of the season they're going to shock some people. I thought they were really efficient. They got an identity of what they like to do. They've got some pretty good running backs. They're tough, physical on the offensive line. Defensively, I think they're okay. I think they're going to be better than what we think.
I was wrong last year because I just look at what this offense did at Tennessee and how quickly Heupel turned it around. I thought last year, Mississippi State, watch out for them with this guy in his first year, and he completely flopped.
we lost his quarterback.
Yeah, he had
Lost his
injuries and
quarterback,
stuff.
but unlike Heupel, he went out and got 50 guys in the portal this year. He upgraded the talent.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, that's a dangerous football team. I don't know that
It
anybody
is.
around the SEC is going to look at yesterday's game and think, oh, we're going to go into Starkville and it'll be a pushover. Josh, big takeaway.
Chris Brazile, he's one of the best wide receivers in the country. And last year he was a disappointment for Tennessee. This year he is a major factor in why you can be optimistic about what Tennessee can do.
We have a pretty amazing stat on him and the season he's having coming up later in today's show.
One quick note, Mississippi State had 3 touchdown drives of less than 30 yards, which was Tennessee screwing up and putting State
Keeping
in
them in.
position. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Never interrupt me again.
I was agreeing with you.